Hi, this is Harish here. Welcome to DB2 TSA MP tutorial part 1. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about how to install DB2 and TSA software, TSA MP software, Tivoli system automation for multi-platform software in GUI mode together. The scripts that I'm using are available for free download. The data files are available for free download at db2luwacademy.blogspot.in. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/db2luwacademy. This slide talks about the problem scenario and the points to consider. The problem scenario is we want to install DB2 and also the Tivoli system automation, and I'll be using a GUI based setup for this tutorial. The software that I'll be using is DB2 11.1.4.4, 11.1.modpack 4 fixpack 4 on RHEL 7.6, and I'm using the trial edition of DB2, so I'll have to uninstall it after 90 days. And RHEL, there is a developer program, there is a developer license available, so anybody can use RHEL for free, and I'm using 7.1.6 using that program. And this is for demonstration and learning purpose only, so do not compare this or do not think of this as an enterprise setup. This is for those people who want to learn TSA, who want to see the automation in a home environment, like in a laptop, in a personal workstation machine. So they just want to practice how to do this TSA, how this automation works with DB2 HADR, how TSA is automating things and how to configure them. So we'll be using virtual machines, and I'm using VMware, and again that is also like a freeware available, like for non-commercial purposes we can use it for free. So I'm just using it since it is a learning thing. So what are certain points to consider? The first thing would be configuring a static AP for your virtual machines. So obviously in this tutorial I'm going to install this in one server, so you'll have to in a TSA setup with the HADR, when you do that you'll have two servers with similar setups. So you need to configure static AP for your virtual machines, and you need to provide IP address and hostname mapping for etc hosts. Sometimes the virtual machines will be configured in such a way that they use DHCP for the network. So for the IP address, they'll be acquiring the IP address from a DHCP server, but that is not required because we don't want to complicate things, and I am not sure whether DHCP is even supported. So static IP means it's always the same IP address, it's not going to change. And DB2, because in HADR you'll be configuring obviously the IP addresses and everything, so it's better to be static. And in any case, the IP address is mapped to the host name in the etc hosts file, so that way it is kind of, you can change it. Even if the IP address is changing, it is enough to change it in the etc hosts file. So this needs to be done in both the VMs. So if you are using, like, and this is going to be like a series of tutorial. So the part 1 is installing it on one server, the part 2 will be installing it on the second server, part 3 will be configuring HADR, part 4 will be like that. It's going to go on. So please, I suggest you to watch all the videos. And so once you install RHEL 7.6, after that certain packages needs to be installed. So for example, Conch shell, it doesn't come with Conch shell pre-installed, and GCC-C++, which is your C++ compiler. Kernel Devel is a package with kernel development libraries and tools. Perl syslog, and again that is required by DB2 for TSA MP specifically. And libAIO is there, and NTP, you need to configure NTP also, network time protocol, so that between your primary and standby, the timing between the primary and the standby, they should be in the same identical time zones and other things. So you don't want to have different time zones for a primary and standby server. So that those kind of things are there. So the list of packages are not exhaustive, so this is not like a step-by-step tutorial, so please refer Knowledge Center for a very detailed information. And this is, again, I'm saying this is only for, do not compare this with the enterprise setup. So I'm not going to give you the complete list of things like that. So but we can see I have just installed RHEL 7.6, and everything you can see, the demonstration is there how it is going to work. And we have to disable SE Linux and firewall. So if you don't want to disable firewall, that is what I was saying. See, in my example, this is just for learning purposes, I can go ahead and disable the firewall. but in an enterprise setup it's not possible. So in that case you will have to open the specific ports for incoming and outgoing traffic, which obviously I'm not going to cover. Okay, so we'll go with the simple option to disable the firewall. Okay, so let's close this. So let's get into the demo. And so how to configure. So here I'm going to use this VM. So if you look at this VM, it has like the network settings. You can go, it is using a NAT network. So you can see network adapter is NAT, and the IP address is assigned using a static mode. So how do I say that you're assigning a static IP? Is how to do that in a VM is you go to the C program data VMware vmnet dhcp.conf. So in that file you can see this is the file. So you can see that what is the range of IP addresses that is getting used by the DHCP server. So you can change that in this file. So this is the DHCP configuration file which the VMware is using, and so you can see that this is the range 192.168.91.128 to 254, and also I think there should be another range also should be there. I don't know. Yeah, I think there is one more range here, 192.168. I think this is for the NAT network. So there's 91 IP addresses for the NAT network, and this one is for the host only network, so which I'm not going to cover, so we'll not worry about it. So what we need to do is we want a static IP, right, for our virtual machine. So what you do is you find the MAC ID of this virtual machine. So how do you do that is like so I'll just log in. So you can say ifconfig. So you will find that obviously here there is a MAC ID. Where is it? Yeah, this guy 000C29095576. So that is the MAC ID of this network interface, which is your Ethernet network interface, and this is going to take 192.168.91.103. So that is what I have explained here. That is what I have added here. So I have taken that same MAC ID. I have put an entry here in this. After this host vmnet8, I have put this entry for that MAC ID and what is the IP address that needs to be there. So in fact I have a couple of other VMs also for which 101 and 102 is there, but we are considering about a RHEL system and it is 103. Okay, so that is done. So once this is done, you will have to, after the modifying the file, obviously you'll have to restart the service. So you need to go to the Windows services, VMware DHCP service and VMware NAT service. If you restart these two services and then start your virtual machine, then you will be able to see that the virtual machine is always picking up the IP address 103, even though it is getting assigned from DHCP. So I've still not assigned static IP here. In this configuration, this method, what I have done is it is still using DHCP, but the IP address is always going to be the same. So it's a kind of crooked setup, but for learning purposes is okay. But if you want, you can configure static IP, but I have not done that in this specific example. Like in this tutorial, I have not done that. And the next thing that I need to do is enable SSH so that I can transfer some files. So system, system CTL status SSHD. Okay, so you can see the SSH is active and running. So why this is required is if I want to transfer some file from the Windows machine, so I can do that. So what I'll be doing is I'll be using typically like a program like FileZilla or WinSCP. So you can use any tool, or you can even do command line. So you can just go and connect to the RHEL machine. So 192.168.91.103. So you can connect and you can upload the software. So which I have uploaded already. So I have uploaded the 11.1.4 Fixpack 4 Linux trial version. So you can see that this is the Windows machine. From Windows machine I have uploaded it into the server machine. So for that purpose only I have enabled the SSH. Okay, so that is one thing we need to do. And then we need to disable the firewall. So if you want to disable the firewall, first we'll check the status FIREWALL. No, I think I'm forgetting everything. Okay, the firewall is running, so I've not disabled it, so I'll need to disable it. So a systemctl disable disable firewall daemon. That's it. So the firewall got disabled. So you can again check the status of the firewall daemon. Oh, it's disabled, but it is still running, right? So checking the status always helps. So stop the firewall daemon, then you look for the status. Yeah, so it is inactive, and even when you restart, the firewall daemon won't come up because we have disabled it. So we have enabled SSH, we have disabled firewall, and we also have to disable something called as SC Linux. So you can see SC Linux status is already disabled. So how did I do that? Was there is some file. Let me see if I have that. I should it. Okay, it's not there. Sudo. Okay, I'm already in the root. So more etc SC Linux config. So if you look at here, see SC Linux is disabled. So I changed it to SC Linux disabled. It was actually enforcing. Okay, this enforcing was here. So SC Linux was enabled. But then what I did was I changed this file and I have to restart my RHEL server. And after that, when I say SC status, it's disabled. So SC Linux is disabled. And then the NTP thing that I was telling about. So yum info NTP. So this is the network time protocol. So this will sync up your time actually. So the time and date will be synced up with some internet servers, and it's much more. So the primary and the standby will be in the same time zone and everything. So you need not worry about the having a synchronous time, like same time in both the machines. So you need not worry about it. So you can see that it's already installed. So NTP is already installed, and there is also this lib.aio. So usually these things are already NTP. I had to install manually. It was not installed as part of your RHEL installation. But lib.aio is one software that we need to check, and it is already installed. And it is for the asynchronous IO. So DB2 extensively is going to use asynchronous IO. So this library is required, and it is already installed, and you can see it is from the installer itself. So when you install RHEL, the lib.aio is already installed. Certain Linux distributions may not bundle this, so you might have to check whether based upon your Linux and Linux versions, it's better to check that. And the next thing that you do is, obviously I have uploaded the installer. So you can see that I have uploaded the installer. I have extracted this. So the extracted folder is this one, server t, cd server underscore t. And the first thing, obviously I'll be running the prerequisite check, and -l is for the latest version. So I'll just do that. So 11.1.4.4, it is checking for that. See, lib.pam is a warning message. So it's going to say certain libraries are missing, certain softwares are missing, like that. So that is what we are going to install. So you can check that the lib.pam is missing. This is a pluggable authentication module, and unless you use that feature, it is not required. So it's any case a warning, we'll ignore. And 32-bit library, this std C++, it looks like some C++ library is there, some C++ compilation things. So C program compilation things, and which is again here it is saying gcc-c++, cpp, gcc. So when we install these packages, kernel developer package, gcc, cpp, gcc. So obviously when we install these packages, it should be able to figure out that std C++ is not required. Actually, I don't know, it's still a warning message you can ignore. And con shell is required. So KSH is required for your TSA purposes. It is a specific installation requirement for TSA. So let's go ahead and install all these things. I think in one command we can do all these things. So we'll say install KSH, install gcc-c++ space KSH. Okay, and I think if you install GCC C++, CPP and GCC program is kind of included in that. I don't know, but okay, I think mostly it is like that, but I don't remember. Okay, but these things are any case RHEL people will worry, so we are not Linux admins. So for us, when we give these prerequisites, they'll take care of that, but it's not going to happen in your home environment. You need to do that. So if you are trying to, in our demonstration, like try to do a home setup and try to learn TSA, you need to install all these things yourself. Otherwise, we can just simply give the prerequisites and all these things to the Linux guy, and he'll be installing. So, and you can see that lib std C++ is getting installed, and GCC++, GCC CPP is also getting installed as part of its dependencies. And it is about 75 MB. So let me, I don't know how long it is going to take. So it's going to be a lengthy video. So please be patient. Please bear with me because I just wanted you to show this full thing. And I don't know how to do this video editing and all. So pause the video and again continue from some point and give some fancy effects in between. I don't know. So I'm just running this YouTube channel. I am not wow, that's great actually. 2.3 MB per second, and it's really fast actually. I didn't expect my network connection to be so fast. Thanks to Airtel for that. Okay, and Airtel is the ISP provider that I'm using. Super fast. No complaints. Okay, and it's installing, so all these softwares, and thanks to RHEL for giving me the developer version, otherwise this video would not be possible. And it is like blazing through the installation. So enterprise software is enterprise software, I guess. So it's real fast. And I missed it. So what I was trying to think of is just take this output, copy and put it in some place. Okay, copy that and open another terminal. Nano DB2 pre rec check dot txt. Okay, I'll just put it and save it here for future reference, so if some case I might later need it, because since I've installed all the software, if I run the thing, it's not going to show the errors anymore. So I'm just going to keep this for reference. Okay, done. So all the RHEL dependencies are done. I don't think you need to restart anything, but we can recheck the dependencies, recheck the DB2 prerequisites. So the 32-bit library of std C++ is still not installed, but I don't think that should be an issue. And what else it is saying actually? 32-bit PAM module. Okay, it is saying one more package, Perl syslog. I don't know, it should have said earlier itself, or I don't know, I didn't notice probably or something. I don't know, but we'll just install it one more time. I mean, it's not one more time, I just missed this Perl package. I think in our previous output it did not show me that. See, it really helps now to verify. So in the previous output, if you look in the previous output, let's just wait and see. So yeah, it did not say that. It only said KSH, and after providing KSH only, it gave me the error saying that the Perl syslog is not there. is okay. So this package we have installed now, so it's all fine. So we'll run the prerequisite one more time. Prerequisite check. So PAM module, I said, is not required. std++ is not required. It's just a warning message you can ignore. And so this is the important line. Prerequisite SAM, all prerequisite for IT, TSA, MP, I don't know, IBM, I don't know why it says like that. It's TSAMP, Tivoli System Automation Multi-Platform. I think I stands for IBM, maybe. So I think so. Okay. TSAMP installation are met on the operating system. So we can go ahead and install DB2. So this is, I'm going to install both DB2 and also I'm going to install TSA along with it. And one important thing to note here is I'm not going to do auto restart of the instances because I don't want to. Because we're implementing this TSA automation, TSA will take care of starting the instances for you. So even if it goes down accidentally or when the system comes up in a smooth manner, the instances will be automatically started, so you don't need to worry about it. So let's fire the, so this way, this time I'm going to install it using the DB2 setup utility, which is a GUI based utility. You can see that here. And it's a little bit on the heavier side, like, you know, like if it is a script based installation or a text based installation, it is going to be faster, but this is a GUI, so it's going to load so many graphics and other thing. It might be slower and it might not be, sometimes they don't set RHEL server with GUI, so it's like what they call bare metal server with all the services running like that. There is no GUI on top of that. Even the genome desktop environment itself will not be there, or any kind of desktop environment will not be there. Any kind of graphics program you'll not be able to run in an enterprise RHEL system. But that's okay. But what I'm going to do is, how do you install DB2 and this TSAMP from a command line mode? So that I will give a demo, because in any case we need to set up for the second server, right? So we'll do it there. Okay, we'll do it how the same thing can be done in a command line mode. Okay. So this is the DB2 version 11.1.4.4 server edition. That is what I want actually. So I don't want with pure scale, and I don't want any of these. These are all the clients: data server client and data server runtime client. So I'm going to go with the server, obviously. And you can do a typical installation. There's no harm in it. So but in this specific case, and maybe I'll not create the instance also, and I'll agree to the terms, and I'll go for a custom installation. So I don't want to create instance right now, so I'll just install the product. That's it. Okay. So why I'm going for custom installation is, see, I don't want this DB2 update service. I don't want federation. I don't want getting started. So getting started is going to give you first steps and sample data source. I'm not interested in all those things. And maybe I'll put some base application development tools. See, base application development tools containing some pre-compilers, libraries. So I think if you write some kind of a C-based application development for DB2, maybe these things might help. So I'm just checking it. So there's no harm in having it. So I mean, it's not like federated, which is a feature I'm not going to use at all. So so that's why I'm going for the custom. Otherwise you can go for the typical itself, because you don't have any space constraints or anything like that. It's your laptop, it's a 40 GB disk, and I mean 40 GB is more than enough for installing DB2. So and also I don't need this Guardium integrated flash copy support. I don't know. I just for our learning purposes, at least it's not required. And TSAMP, this is the one. So obviously you should not uncheck this. So this is going to install Tivoli TSAMP, and we'll go ahead and yes, and we'll be using the information center. And you can, the good thing about this is you can save it as a response file, save the installation as a response file, and take this response file, modify it whatever you want. You can modify it, and you can do the same thing in the other server and do it in a command line mode, like like without the GUI. So which I'm going to show you any case in the next server. So okay, we can just view a full summary of selected components, everything. We can have a double check, and yeah, finish. That's it. So the installation has started, and sorry for making you wait again. So I don't know whether I could, like, I don't want to pause the video and come back, but I don't know, you just have to wait for me here. It's going to take a while, the installation procedure. So if it is really super fast, I'm not having a very powerful machine, guys. Mine is a very basic system, like with a quad core system. It's not even i3 i5 architecture. The processor that I'm using in my laptop is not even i3 i5. It's much lower than that. So it is not that fast, and you can see various things it is installing, and I think it has run through in a decent manner. It is running in a decent speed. It is now installing Tivoli SAMP, which is our core thing, so which is what we wanted to install, and we are installing this along with DB2. So if you, like, for example, if you have an environment where the DB2 is already installed, but you want to install TSAMP on top of it, right? So that can also be done. So what I'll do in my next video, TSA tutorial part 2, is we will, so let's say like this RHEL server will be our primary server, and shortly, maybe after some time, I will do a second video, so wherein you will be installing DB2 in a command line mode using the response file installation. So we'll do that, and after that what we'll do, so which means like we already have a DB2 installation, how to add Tivoli TSAMP to the existing DB2 install in command line mode. So that we can do it, that we can check how to do in the next video. And pretty much whatever the same prerequisite softwares that I have told you now, right? So for example, Corn Shell, the Perl sys package, the NTP, the libaio, all the things, kernel devel. So all these things needs to be there in the another server also, the another DB2 server also. So I'll not be showing you those things in that video, so because for the sake of simplicity. Okay, TSAMP is done, so it's doing some other thing, and it is setting the DB2 library path, which is going to take some fairly good amount of time. Sorry about that. I don't know, it is taking, this is a critical step, and you don't want to see any errors at this stage, because setting the library path is like it will be a lot of dynamic. So in Windows they say dynamic link libraries, DLL files. In Linux you call it as shared libraries, or SO files or AO files, like that, based upon the version of Unix or Linux. And these files will be some kind of a path association will happen, like the exe. So the exe has to certain method calls and other things needs to get resolved, right? So that will be part of the DLL file. The exe will be using that DLL file, which will be loaded in the memory. So similarly, the shared library file will be loaded in the memory from a DB2 shared library files will be loaded in the memory, and the utilities, DB2 utilities, will be using those loaded library files. So I think that is what it is doing, and there is some kind of a compilation stuff that might compiling and linking. So along those lines will happen here. that is why they are saying you need the libstd C++ as a mandatory program, because of that compiling and linking happening in setting all these path variables, everything, this for the DB2 utilities and exes. So I think that's an important step. That's why it is there. So okay, it's taking, I don't know, please be patient with me. It's going to be a lengthy video, I told you in the beginning itself. Okay, now it's the important step, installing or updating DB2 HA scripts. So it's I mean, it went very fast, but so we have completed successfully. That's great, no errors. So you can see that checking the license success, installing success, installing or updating DB2 HA scripts for the TSA automation for multi-platform, that is also a success. And all these things, you'll obviously find these things. So it's all done. Is all done without any errors. It is as simple as that. You can check for the post install steps, like, you know, we can validate and other things, but I'm not going to do that. So let me finish the installation, and obviously if I say DB2 LS, there you go, we have installed. Now there are no instances, so there is no instance, like there's no DB2 inst1 user, so that is there. And what else I want? Yeah, I can show you probably SAM version, or should I say, I don't know, let me just type it that way, SAM version. Yeah, so SAM version, CT version. So these two things. So this is your TSAMP version 4.1.0.4, and this is your RCST version. So RCST is reliable scalable cluster technology. I think TSA uses RCST internally. So the RCST version is 3.2.3.2, and the Tivoli system version is 4.1.0.4. And there is a bundling. So obviously, see, if you install 11.1.4.4, you are getting TSAMP of this version, and as part of TSAMP this version, you will be getting RCST of this version. So there is, unless you go and manually reinstall something and change it. So when you use DB2 installer, there are certain standard versions that are getting bundled along together. So that is helpful. And I think that's it. So we have installed DB2, everything. So I think pretty much we need to create instance and HADR database and other things, but that I won't do as of now. So let us set up our second server also using command line mode, then we can check that. That's it in this video tutorial. Hope this information. Okay, one more thing, the last thing I'll show you is etc host name. So obviously, sorry, etc what was that, etc hosts, that's it. Okay, so this is the one. So this IP address mapping should be there, 103. The machine name is Tiger. So the RHEL server name is Tiger. So if I'm going to say ping Tiger, it's going to ping 192.168.91.103, which will use as a primary server. So that's it in this video tutorial. Hope this information was useful to you. See you in the next video tutorial. Until then, bye bye.